have all the aerodrome side on the air side. It's not that the necessary arrangements and information are available to the authorities and alternate plans are made.
Okay, but let's come back and also look at some other issue apart from union issues and the clause, in the bill that you have workers of the aviation sector protesting. Let's look at the issue of the aviation fuel and the fact that the prices of domestic flight have been on the high on the other side, and at some point they have also threatened to halt work. We also hear the minister saying that it is within, out of control for the sector, whatever crisis they're faced with, especially with the aviation fuel. It is out of their control and there's nothing that can be done. Now, what are your thoughts on this? The tickets are actually on the high. Tickets have actually gone up to as much as 50,000 naira and above. And, in some cases you have these sectors airlines saying they're not going to fly. It's a lot going on, especially for the domestic flights. I'd like you to share your thoughts on it.
Well, what are my thoughts? I think I'm also as confused as the rest of the industry. Why we would have to say the option of solving the petroleum crisis is based on a long time plan. Like the minister said, the minister got us all confused there. He's looking at the option of Dangote refinery on its completion. That would help. And then when the government finishes turning around the ever epileptic Port Harcourt and Kaduna refinery. For us, that's too long. There's no certainty in those two options. But the certainty we have right now that as an opinion can help us with the aviation price and scarcity at times is to look at the modular refineries that are on ground in Nigeria. We have about 2 or 3 of them who have been waiting for over a year to be allocated crude oil. For God's sake, over a year. They're not allocated, but they're sending abroad. Now, if this modular refineries, happily for them or luckily for them, aviation fuel is deregulated. This is regulated. This is deregulated. Kerosene is regulated. So there's no subsidy to be paid. So they sell after their cost and they determine the price. They will sell to airlines. So it's good to just allow those modular refineries to start off with the aviation fuel, and there are about 2 or 3 of them. Again, in the interim, because of the high cost of the oil price in the international market caused by the war in Ukraine and between Ukraine and Russia, I think the landing cost at the ports and the taxes at the airport should, for the moment, for at this period, be waived, so the price can drop. We started the year with 119 naira per liter, and today it's about 900. It's about 900. 900 naira, which is more than the naira is falling to the dollar. So if the aviation fuel has gone about 7-fold of its price in January, and the ticket has just moved from about 25,000 in January to about 150,000, which is about 5 times the price in January, then you will see that the airlines have tried not to move to match the level of fuel price. Match the increase in fuel price. So that's the situation we're in the industry. The fuel price is killing. The airlines are not getting strong. We have lost 2 airlines are down now, Aero and Dana, and we just hope we don't add more to it. Rather, we need to expand that capacity. And in expanding that capacity, the condition of operations, the cost of operations must be favorable to expand capacity and to improve operations from the airlines.
All right, thank you so much. What we have on ground is that the unions have given this 14-day ultimatum, and they're saying that the clause in the Electoral Act, the Aviation Act, which in its presidency, it goes against all international conventions and laws and practices in the aviation sector. So 14 days hence, we might see a total shutdown of the aviation sector in Nigeria. I mean, probably we're almost at a shutdown because we hear the airports are scanty these days. But of course, we're getting towards the end of the year where people will be traveling around and traveling for their holidays. We expect to see, I'm sure you'd agree, increased activity at the airports. Let's see what happens. They have also said that the issue of essential services was not discussed at any time when the 6 bills in consideration were discussed at the National Assembly level. So they think that this was smuggled in, behind
Can I clarify that?
Yeah.
I will only appeal to the unions to please handle with care. They start with communication. They should see how they can improve that communication before they get to that using that last stick, which is strike. And hopefully I don't think we'll get there. But you see, when you say it was smuggled in,
No, they said.
Yes. When they say it was smuggled in, it was in the last act, and the act was reproduced and updated. So at that point, we're all at the assembly. I was there; they were there. At that point, they would have objected to that clause being in 2006. I said they should not put it back in the new
Okay.
law by Mr. President, and that has been appended. That's an SA Act. But now they're saying they're looking at the one with FAN Act that that it wasn't there before, and it has not been smuggled in order to stop them from protesting and get the concession. I think that's that is the key issue now.
All right, Mr. Ohunaya, we have to go. I mean, I'm glad you've clarified this since you were there, and we'll see what happens. But the aviation sector is very critical. I'm sure you already know this to the Nigerian economy, and it's in the state of crisis right now. Thank you so much for your time, and look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, he is the Assistant Secretary General of Aviation Sector, or Safety rather, Roundtable Initiative. We have our next conversation up next. Of course, a guest standing by. I'll be right back after this to continue on The Breakfast.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on PlusTvAfrica.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
For me, I wanted to change that culture. I didn't believe that until you see a white man or you see a foreigner in the kitchen before you can believe that, good food is going to come out of that kitchen.
You can leverage on each other's spaces and, sell. We believe in Nigeria, right? We believe that Nigeria can get better. We, the youth, are the ones that can make it better.
And my products are proudly made in Nigeria.
Made in Nigeria, showing every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. and repeats on Saturday at 8:30 a.m.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. From the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and listen to the moment, is another thing for them to still be able to when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
It's still the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. Many thanks for being with us this morning. We head straight to our second conversation. Now, we'll be looking at the issue of ASU and the issue of the drain brain. The Academic Staff Union of Universities have raised the alarm over the exodus of lecturers from the nation's universities for greener pastures abroad. The union attributed the development to the federal government's poor treatment of its members, which is said had forced many to venture into, other sources of livelihood. Now, according to the president of the association, Professor Emmanuel Osodoke, many lecturers have taken to farming and other economic activities, while a large number have left the country. The chairman of ASU, University of Lagos branch, Dr. Dele Ashiru, revealed that more than 70% of the brightest brains in the academia had left the country, adding that the government had been so disrespectful and insensitive to scholars. The chairperson of ASU University of Uyo chapter, Dr. Happiness Udwak, confirmed that some lecturers had left the system. Meanwhile, you have some lecturers at the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and the OOU, Ogun State, had similar lecturers resigning and relocating abroad. Now, the story or the conversation is almost endless. But this morning, we just look at all of these issues now. We thought that this was just limited to, the medical sector, the medical doctors and the brain drain. But we might just be experiencing, that drift and movement in the academic sector as well, following the long strike. We have a guest joining us this morning, Professor Abiola Awosike. She's an educationalist. Professor Abiola Awoshika, an educationalist here in Lagos, joining us.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. We also have Professor Sani Fagi joining the conversation as well.
Good morning.
All right, so I start off with Professor Abiola. What are your thoughts now on the brain drain of our lecturers?
Well, we can't tell anyone not to go anywhere. If they want to leave, there's nothing you can do to stop them. There's a lot that is wrong with our educational system, especially the tertiary education. We do not have enough universities. We put JAM in place to select the best for the existing universities. Right now, we have 2 million Nigerians in our universities, not up to 1%, maybe just 1% of our population. We want economic development. If we want economic development, we need at least 10% of our young people in the educational pipeline so that they will be out there at the right time to take this country to the next level. And we're not even paying attention to that. We cannot afford the system that we are running. For every student that gets admission into our universities, they are being subsidized by those students who could not gain admission. So we're not even close to, the conversation ASU is having with the government is not the conversation they should be having. And so we're not going to keep our brains at this stage. And even if we give them the money that they want now, we would still have the same problem. We had ASU strike 35 years ago, ASU strike 20 years ago, ASU strike 10 years ago, ASU strike now. How are we resolving our problems? I think we're probably just taking the baby steps by saying, let's go to court. Because there's no way that we can resolve this. ASU is not going to budge. The federal government is saying this is how much money I have. ASU is saying this is not enough. So the only thing we can do is to let the courts decide. In other parts of the world, they don't go on strike like this, and yet they have their issues resolved. So we're going to be up a creek without a paddle, with all of these brains leaving Nigeria, and yet we're not going to have our problem solved at all.
All right, thank you, Professor Abiola Oshika. Let's go to Professor Fage. Professor Fage, do you think, and it's quite interesting, we have two professors on the program this morning. I think we'll draw from a fountain of knowledge. But do you think, Professor Fage, that but the courts are the way to go about this?
No, I don't think that is the right way. Brain drain is a reality, and it seems that those who are concerned with it are not much interested in resolving the problem. Okay, so that is why we are where we are now, and we fail to realize or to see the implications and the consequences of this drain. Because as the saying goes, there is no nation that develops above its level of education. Here in Nigeria, we seem to take education generally, and especially the tertiary education very, very lightly. We don't care, the people in power don't seem to care about it. So that is why we are having this problem. So going to court, I don't think it will resolve the problem. On the contrary, it will seem to compound and complicate the whole process. And if care is not taken, perhaps it may even lead to the embarrassment of the government for taking the case there, because they are fully aware of the fact that this strike is necessary, and it is uncalled for, and it is something that could have been, ended within weeks. But for some reasons, those in power decided to drag it unnecessarily, and they seem not to care much about the implications of the process. So I don't think what we are seeing now and the way we are attempting to address it will resolve the problem.
All right, then. Let's have Professor Awoshika coming down. Do you think that the concerns of ASU are really valid? I mean, we're looking at this concerns they've raised over time, revitalization, salary increase, and what have you. Do you think that the concerns are valid?
Well, whether we say it's valid or not, those are their concerns. Now, where in the world do you go to school for 25,000 a year? Where in the world do you get, apart from countries with smaller population and whatnot, where in the world do you go to school for 25,000 a year? And when they say they want to increase it to 75 or 100,000, the students go on strike. The lecturers support them. We do not have a system that works until we charge the right price for higher education. Tertiary education, I beg to say, and I apologize because I was on TV at some point, and I commented on a strike that was on, and I supported the government not paying them for what they did not do. And someone took me up when I got to a conference and really lambasted me, and that's fine. But at the cost of being of someone being offended, we are not paying. Tertiary education is not for everybody. Yes, we owe our children education. By the time they finish in primary, they can speak English properly, they can do maths, so by the time they finish secondary school, they're set for life. Now, what we want to do with tertiary is to find those who want to go that route and encourage them to go that route. Those who want to go for not so technical. I mean, those who want to go to the technical route, we help them to go to technical route. At the end, we have a robust citizenry.
Okay.
But now everybody wants to go to university.
Prof, because of time,
Yes.
I will go over to Professor Sage to just tell us what he thinks about what you've said in a few seconds. Professor, we don't have too much time. But can't Nigeria, some have argued that Nigeria can afford, as an oil-producing country, to subsidize education for its citizens, along the lines of what countries like Germany, Brazil, Denmark, Finland, Sweden, Greece, Austria, Czech Republic, Norway, and France are doing for the tertiary students. Professor Fage, very shortly, please.
Yeah, I think we have it. And the way we are making it is too elitist. We think just because we have made it, then other Nigerians should not make it. I'm not saying everybody must get tertiary education, but the fact is that even our own constitutions, you go back and see when you go to the fundamental principle of the state, education is there. It has been made clear that from primary up to tertiary and even adult education is supposed to be free. So if those people who are advocating that Nigerians should not have it, they should go and change the constitution. It is not ASU that makes it that way. It is the constitution that provides a right of Nigerians. And so we shouldn't sit down and say that Nigerians should not have it just because we have it.
Thank you, Professor Sani. We have to go now for the want of time. We appreciate your insight. Thank you so much, Professor Abiola Awoshike. Thank you so much as well for being part of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it's been quite interesting, an episode of the breakfast with Professor Biola Washika and, of course, Professor Sani Fagi. When last did we have two professors on the program? Please follow us online, Plus TV Africa on all platforms, and, of course, YouTube, Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. My name is Kofi Bartels.
And I am Mercy Boko. Many thanks for watching.
Is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria?
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
Good morning. This is the news brief. I am Mercy Popo. President Muhammadu Buhari has described the Boko Haram sectors of fraudulent people who have been overwhelmed by his administration since 2015. President Buhari, who spoke in Owerri, the Imo State capital, when he was hosted by Governor Hope Uzodinma, blamed the elite for not thinking hard about Nigeria, adding that though his government had done extremely well, those who were supposed to commend his administration for his achievement have refused to speak. He also said that despite earning so much from crude oil, his predecessors failed to develop the country's infrastructure.
The question of insecurity and the bandits
the second Niger bridge. If Nigerians will reflect, anyway, to be frank to you, I had been blaming Nigerian elite for not sitting and thinking hard about our country. Between 1999 and 2015, when we came in, I like people to check the central bank and NNPC. The average production was 2.1 million barrels a day. Average production, 2.1 million barrels a day. At the average cost of $100 American per barrel. So Nigeria was earning for that time 2.1 million times 100 times the number of days in those years. But look at the state of the infrastructure. Some of the roads since the good old PTF days. Look at the railway, it was virtually killed. Power, we are still struggling. But when we came, was an unfortunate incident. The militants in the south were unleashed. Production went down to 500,000 barrels a day. And again, being unfortunate, the cost of petroleum went down from $28 to $37. But look at the problem in the northeast. Check with anybody from Borno or Adama, how many local governments were in the hands of the government then? They were in the hands of so-called Boko Haram, bloody, fraudulent people, whoever they are. They are fraudulent. But now, go and ask the hard-working governor of Borno State, very hard-working governor. Federal government is still there in charge now. So, relative.
Still all insecurity, Operation Forest Sanity on Tuesday killed some bandits and rescued 10 hostages during clearance operation in Chikun and Igabi local government areas of Kaduna State. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, who disclosed this in a statement in Kaduna, said the hostages were found in a location known as Damban Lawal Kwabal in the Gabi local government area after troops overpowered heavily armed bandits guarding them. Items recovered by the troops were the locally made rifles of AK-47 Maxim, 1 AK-47 top cover, 4 radio chargers, 11 mobile phones, 3 music box, 2 sets of military uniforms, 1 frag jacket spanner, knives and chains. Still on insecurity, 19 governors under the aegis of Northern Governors Forum and GF have unanimously expressed support for the establishment of state police in bid to tackle the activities of insurgents, kidnappers and other criminal activities across the country. The Northern Governor's stance was contained in a communique issued at the end of the meeting with the Northern Traditional Rulers Council held in Abuja, organized to review the state of security in the North and other matters relating to its progress and the development of the region. While reading the communique, the NGF chairman and Governor of Plateau State Simon Lalong said that the meeting reviewed the security situation in the North and other matters relating to its development and resolved to support further amendment of the 1999 Constitution as amended in a bid to accommodate the establishment of state police. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja has granted a prayer by the Department of State Services DSS to detain the former terrorist negotiator Tuko Mamour for 60 more days. The security outfit had urged the court to grant its relief to enable it to conclude its investigation on Mamour, who had been leading negotiation with terrorists for the release of Abuja-Kaduna train passengers kidnapped in March. DSS spokesman Peter Efunaya had urged Nigerians to leave the urgency alone and allow it to concentrate on the investigation, which is said the outcomes had been mind-boggling. The Court of Appeal Abuja has reserved judgment in the case or reversed judgment in the case between the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, and the federal government. Tuesday was fixed for a hearing of the appeal between Kanu and the federal government. During the proceedings, the Court of Appeal asked the federal government legal team to confirm if Kanu's charges were amended 7 times since 2015. Lawyer from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation admitted in the affirmative. Recall that Justice Binta Nyako had on the 8th of April struck out 8 out of 15 count terrorism-related charge against Kanu. Dissatisfied, Kanu, through his lawyer, Chief Mike Ozakame, SAN, approached the Court of Appeal challenging the remaining 7-count terrorism-related charge filed against his client. He maintained that the forceful rendition of Kanu has not been denied by the federal government, and all the counts alleged, except one, did not mention the location where Kanu was purportedly committed and had committed the offense.
And we have been able to demonstrate in our brief before the Court of Appeal, as we did before the lower court, that Nnamdi Kanu never jumped bail. You jump bail when you voluntarily escape from trial and refuse to attend trial. But we all saw that on the 16th of September, 2017, Nnamdi Kanu was with his late father, Eze Kanu, in his ancestral home in Umuahia. Afarauku, Ibeku, Umuahia, Abia State, when the federal government, using the army through Operation Python, invaded the home and killed in cold blood 28 unarmed Nigerians. Nnamdi Kanu managed to escape by providence. No. Are you saying that he should have waited for you to kill him when...
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has said that the Nigerian Army is fully prepared to provide adequate security for the success of the forthcoming 2023 general elections. General Yahya gave the assurance while declaring open the third quarter Chief of Army Staff conference taking place at the Army Headquarters Command Officers Mess at Sokoro, Abuja. He declared that as the preparation heat up, the Nigerian Army remains committed to discharging its constitutional responsibilities, assisting and providing a secured environment for the conduct of the general elections through Operation Safe Conduct.
That the third quarter conference provides an important platform to further appraise our performance and bring in fresh ideas to enhance our activities in all fronts. I therefore expect our participants, particularly the newly appointed commanders, to advance new strategies accordingly. In this regard, we remain grateful to the Commander-in-Chief, President Muhammadu Buhari, for his exemplary leadership and unflinching support. The Nigerian Army is also firming up its preparations to provide the necessary security assistance to ensure the successful conduct of the 2023 general elections. As electioneering activities for general elections begin, I wish to once again assure the public that the Nigerian Army remains committed to discharge its constitutional responsibilities and assist in providing a secured environment for the conduct of general elections through Operation.
The All Progressive Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council on Tuesday dismissed insinuations on the health status of the party's presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The council was reacting to a statement credited to the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, who cast aspersions on the integrity and physical condition of the former Lagos State governor. Obi, who addressed his supporters at the Labour Party's retreat on Monday in Abuja, said Tinubu was medically unfit to rule Nigeria, warning against voting for a candidate who sees a presidency as a form of entitlement. However, in a statement issued by its Director of Media and Publicity, the council described Tinubu as a horse who walks assiduously for 20 hours on a daily basis. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has declared that he will ensure that the party wins Lagos State in the 2023 governorship elections. Atiku stated this on Tuesday during a brief meeting with PDP members in Lagos. Plus TV News correspondent Lovey Kuko Yedokun tells us more in this report.
It was a long and tiring wait from 8 a.m. to 4:55 p.m. For 10 straight hours, these PDP faithfuls left all they had to do for the day, endured and waited patiently for the arrival of Atiku Abubakar. And then, the moment being awaited finally stares them on the face. It was like homecoming for the PDP presidential candidate, who was greeted with so much excitement. Without much ado, straight he headed for the podium. First, he tendered an apology for keeping them waiting for so long. He said he was in Lagos to see for himself whether PDP was on ground or not. He enjoined them to work hard to win the 2023 elections, promising to support the party all the way.
PDP is going to win Lagos. Inshallah. I believe you are going to win Lagos this time around. 100%. Therefore, we are ready to support you to any level to make sure that you win Lagos.
Earlier in his welcome address, the Lagos State PDP governorship candidate Olajide Adediro, popularly known as Jandor, thanked party members for their resilience. He said that the turnout gives him confidence that PDP is indeed ready to take Lagos State.
All of us in the state of Lagos, under our great party, the People's Democratic Party, we have spoken to ourselves and we have decided to focus only on the project 2023. Your Excellency, we have spoken to ourselves and we decided to say, you know what? We care less whatever is happening anywhere. What is paramount to us is to deliver Nigeria at the same time Lagos State for the people of Africa.
The PDP's presidential candidate, who said his visit wasn't for campaign purposes but an interactive one, had earlier on met with the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry (LCCI) and the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Love Ikuku Oyedokun, Plus TV News.
The Vehicle Inspection Service plays a major role in ensuring that necessary roadworthiness is adhered to by motorists before they can access the road. However, motorists, especially private car owners, have lamented alleged extortion by VIO's official, while some others say they are sometimes responsible for gridlock on the highway in cities. Our correspondent Uyeme Elijah has more in this report.
When a motorist is stopped, they check the car system, demand to see the driver's license, fire extinguisher, among others. These vehicle inspection officers, simply identified by their acronym VIOs, are constitutionally charged with the inspection and insurance of roadworthiness certificates to all vehicles, maintenance of sanity on our various roads and highways by ensuring that all vehicles plying such roads are roadworthy at all times, training and testing of drivers for driver's license, testing of riders for rider's card, organizing seminars and public lectures in order to educate drivers, carrying out inspection on accident vehicles, and certification of driving schools. Errant drivers who fail to comply with regulations guiding their presence on the highway are either fined or have their vehicles impounded. Some are even charged to the court depending on the gravity of their offense as it concerns road unworthiness. However, one wonders how some smoky and rickety vehicles escape the roadworthiness test and even the VIO's road checks. There have been allegations against the VIOs over unnecessary harassment and extortion.
What is VIO? What are the functions? of a VIO? Are they really doing the functions? What are they doing? What are they doing on the road? They should tell us. They'll see a car with a bad tire, they're not doing anything to it, except they collect money. So why you just park some junks of people, they're not going for seminar, nobody's telling them, these are your code of conduct, this is what you are supposed to do on the road. What are they doing?
If you look the way they behave, you will know that somehow they are cruel when dealing with drivers and all those things. So most times, if they ask you things about vehicles, then you have to provide everything. The next thing you will see, they will look for something that is irrelevant. Maybe something that is not really things that are within their jurisdiction to ask. You will see them asking you. Then when they find out that there is nothing they can get you from, they start bringing out some illegal excuses that might generate fund or anything.
Well, vehicle inspection officers, I don't think they are efficient because, you know, just looking, you don't even need to you don't need to pull every vehicle over. Most of the commercial vehicles, looking at them, you know that they are not supposed to be on the road.
Abdulmumin Indidi is a member representing Lagos Central Senatorial District in the Nigerian Youth Parliament. He believes it is important to have the VIOs on the roads to sensitize drivers and checkmate those taking the roadworthiness with levity.
To say that VIOs should not be on our road, I think that would be wrong. It's important to have them in existence, maybe not on the road, because what they need to do is to be strategic in sensitization as well as be strategic in going to where they can find those vehicles and ensure that even before they come to the roads, they are worthy to be on the roads. Perhaps to beat some of the polluted officers back to shape, the agency needs to be restructured. The issue with the VIO is not isolated from the issues with other security or monitoring agencies that we have in the country. Let me say uniformed men in the country. The road safety, the police officers, everything you see these guys do, they emanate from the norms of we, the people of the society. So it's not as if it's written in their modus operandi that they should go about harassing people. So for the VIS, the best thing is to restructure the agency, ensure that they don't necessarily need to be on the road. They need to go to those places where they can find these vehicles. Most times, personal vehicles don't have these faults. The ones that have the faults can be picked up, rather than having last mile on the road, VIO on the road, road safety on the road, police on the road, and each of them having almost similar duties with the same motorists. Some VIO's activities are banned in some states and even the Federal Capital Territory. For instance, in Abuja, the VIO is banned from removing the number plate of a defaulting motorist when they are arrested, while in Delta State, a lawyer won an appeal court victory, stopping the VIO from checking private cars on the highway. In Lagos in 2017, the VIO was banned from operating on Lagos roads. According to the government of Ambode then, it was to enrich free flow of traffic in the state. However, their site is still very visible. Efforts to speak with the authorities of the VIO in Lagos have proved abortive.
And to other parts of Africa, William Ruto has officially been declared president of Kenya following his swearing-in ceremony, which took place at the Kasarani Stadium in Kenya. He was sworn in by the Chief Judge, Martha Koome, at the ceremony held in packed Moi International Sports Center in Kasarani. Amid cheers from the excited crowd, Ruto swore an oath of allegiance and other oath for execution of function of office. With his inauguration, Ruto becomes the 5th president of the independent Kenya and the second ethnic after the late Daniel Arap Moi to hold the office.
Moment is a moment like no other. By the grace of God, we have got here. And let me say, that standing here today is testimony that there is a God in heaven. And today, I want to thank God because a village boy has become the president of Kenya.
And in entertainment news, in a bid to put smiles on the faces of those going through hard times in society, foremost Nigerian musician Jesse King, popularly known as Buga, has packaged a new project called Community Project. Talking about this project, the Rebirth Medley, Corona said that Community Project aims to campaign for unity and peaceful coexistence, heritage, and upholding the positive values entrenched in tradition.
16-17 years ago, which I started with Buga, Jesse King Buga, and the Queens and the Palace. And right now, it's about community project for me. You know, what I'm doing right now is bringing communities together, you know, the bond. And what I believe is a strength. That's the strength which we have through entertainment. How do we come together? So I'm using my song to bring people, communities together, to put a smile on their face, to tell them who they are. You know, lately it's been good, don't let me say it's bad. And a lot of people have been finding it so easy, don't let me say bad, really. What we need now is just to put that smile on everybody's face so that we will come to know how to live together, how to work as a team together, and that's the word for now. That's what I've been doing. So I've taken time to stay a bit far away to study what's going on. You know, so for me to put together this project, which I call Community Project, on this song. I've done some tracks for Ibadan people, then Ekiti, then Lagos right here, and of course I'm right there right now at Ijebu Ode and Ijebu people. And of course that's actually causing traction right now in the air. And by special grace of God, the events will be unfolding, then we'll begin to see a lot of
Jesse King Buga, a contemporary open high life and Afro jazz singer who was born in mid-70s in Edo State, also urged Nigerians to vote their conscience.
I think your state will design your next level. Now you should know where you were. Then now where you want to talk about where you're right now. Then you begin to see, you know, it's an everyday occurrence when you want to go for voting, you know, people come, they talk and all that. Then at the same time, you know what has been happening. Nobody should bribe you for anything. Nobody should bribe you for your life. You know, nobody should bribe you for what you think is right. Do you understand? It's a civil kind of understanding, a kind of mutual thing within your heart. You know where you're going. You know this is good for me. So I think most especially, we Nigerians, you know, the way it is now, it's like a virus. Like a lot of people say, you know, you must vote for this person. People keep fighting each other and all that. You know what is happening. You know what is wrong with you. So that's my area. You have the right to vote. You have every right to vote, you know. So my own area there is just to, for the bereaved, you know, that's what I'm selling. You know, for those who don't have hope anymore, that's what I'm saying right now. Those who have been depressed, you know, those who don't have hope. Because even if you say from now to tomorrow that vote, still people can't even see the clear picture of the future anymore. So it's so dark right now. It's actually dark, you know. So even if you have to talk to somebody, that's why it's hard for you to convince someone to say, yeah, vote for it. You say, okay, let me vote. I'm telling you, he doesn't even know what's going to happen. You know, so the fact is I want to keep them alive till then. I want to keep my people alive. So that's why I gave them the song, Mashe, Faaji, Arami, Miolewaku, you know, all those stuff, you know, and getting to see they're coming together in their circle, the community, like I'm doing to Ijebu Ode. When you go to the festival, you won't even think of anything. You know, the beauty of our people coming together. That's where I'm focusing my own line right now. So that can really help our hearts, you know, the burdens in our hearts, you know, take it off, you know. So the same thing to Ikorodu. Ikorodu, Ikorodu, rawa, rawa. When you do that kind of song, it's actually bringing the bonds, you know. The bonds is just what I'm talking about right now. So voting is just more or less like, well, by His grace.
And that's a news brief from us. Diaries, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex on www.limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. I am Messi Bokbo. Many thanks for watching.
Is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria?
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Nigeria's Niger Delta.
So, Kyrat, have you been able to build a team of people, or do you hand make these shoes yourself?
Recently, I have like 4, not like workers. I have 1 worker with 3 that are learning work with me.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's talk about your journey through entrepreneurship. Okay, so it started while you were in school. How has it been? So how did the whole journey start? And basically, how is it till now?
Actually, it started while I was a kid. I used to make some stuff, like tiger nuts. I used to take tiger nuts to the school, despite the strictness and everything. So I have this passion for anything that I will sell and get money. So it started when I was a kid. So as time goes on, I finished my secondary school, then went to the university. Still, I used to sell some stuff, what do you call this? Okrika.
Yeah.
Then down yes, and Ankara and laces. So after I finished my university, I then went and learned how to sew these sheets, do bed and stuff like that with bags. So I was doing those stuff. Then photography caught my attention. So then I went for photography, then some things out of it. So as time goes on, then just shoemaking just got all the attention. That was 5 years back. I started shoemaking. I just went to a place. I paid. It's in our market actually. I paid certain amount of money. I started learning female shoes. From there, it was like not challenging for me. Then I went to learn male shoes, and from there I went to Abuja, and I learned some things again.
Okay, so between female shoes and male shoes, which would you say is more lucrative in your business?
Male shoes.
Male shoes.
It's more challenging I even love male shoes personally.
Why is that?
It's more challenging.
Okay.
Because there are certain, I made so many designs that used to come to my head whenever I see leather for male shoes.
Okay. So back to what you were saying earlier, it's obvious you're very handy. You started with tailoring and then photography, and now you're making shoes. So what would you say is the benefit of being handy? I mean, learning those skills that are not necessarily sitting in the classroom and learning about education. So what's the benefit of being handy, learning basic skills or skills like that that can help you?
Actually, it's really helped me because even before I finished my university, I've never thought of, okay, let me just look for a job, let me work or something like that. What came to my mind was, okay, how can I learn this and this so that I can make money out of it, even if I won't make money at that time, but the passion also. So I think it really helped me.
Okay. So you spoke about passion. Passion for you is being handy, making stuff, being crafty. That's your passion.
Yes.
Amazing. More business conversations coming up with our guest right after the break. Thanks for staying with us. You are watching Ladies Talking Business on Plus TV Africa with our guest, Khairat Ibrahim, founder of Care Designs. So Khairat, what impact has the current state of the Nigerian economy had on your business?
I would answer this question because it has been really tough because of the inflation.
Mm-hmm.
So people, like most of my customers, couldn't buy some shoes, many shoes from me because of the inflation and the rise of prices. Because so for example now, the shoes that we normally make at certain amount, let's say for 7,000.
Yeah.
So I'll make it for 7,000. And the customers that used to buy shoes from us at that rate are not like happy about that. So it's really, I can't say, I don't know what to say. It's really,
So has it reduced the number of customers that would normally buy from you?
it's really reduced seriously.
But how do you get your materials? Do you import them or do you source locally?
Both.
Okay.
I normally source locally, but I do import some materials from, especially through certain apps.
Okay.
Look, I normally come from our market and I buy maybe from Abuja, Lagos, Kaduna, and so on.
Okay, Khairat, you've been in business for 5 years. Tell me about some of the lessons you have learned in business. Like some things you just knew that if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't have learned this. Can you give us some examples?
At first, when I started my business, it was just like a passion to me, not for making money. So I don't record anytime I start doing sales or anything. So as time goes on, people normally ask me, okay, how much do you make in a month? I'll just be looking at them like, I don't know. So first, that part, it really helped me. Like, as time goes on, I know that okay, you have to record certain things. You have to record all your things because you might get investment from an investor or investing company. They might want to invest, but if you don't have that record of your things or anything that you do, buying and selling, it won't be pleasing and they might not see you as someone that is serious about her business. And also, I took my business before as just something that I can just wake up now, do it, go back to sleep. That's all. So as time goes on, I think I started learning that okay, you can make certain things, you can have ideas and sell that idea to your customers. So I really learned that too. And also I was kind of lazy. Despite that I'm handy, I was lazy when it's reading about business because I thought business is just about making the work I do, like making shoes, maybe sewing, that's all. So I was lazy when it comes to reading about business, going to summits and also connecting, networking with people.
Interesting, Kairat. So you've told us about some of the lessons you've learned from running your business. How about you tell us about some of the challenges you faced, especially as a female entrepreneur in the North?
I'm still facing, actually.
What?
I'm still facing challenges because now some people don't buy products from you. They don't buy your products that they think that you are not the one making them.
Okay.
Because I'm a female, feel like you're not the one making them, or they will buy them because I'm a female, not because the shoes are good.
Okay.
So I think the challenge and also lack of materials, certain machines and engines because it's a small business. And also the big challenge is interacting with those people, my colleagues, male colleagues in the market. So whenever I go to the market, they will be like, okay, what are you even doing? Making something like tangible or something good, and people are giving you this attention or something. That was a challenge to me. But apart from that, machines and certain materials, I think I don't have any challenge.
Okay. Well, I know that most entrepreneurs usually complain about having staffing challenge. Have you ever had to deal with maybe not having the right staff or your staff members misbehaving?
I don't have much staff. I have one staff, then I have two people I'm teaching. So I do make shoes by my hand, me and that staff. So I don't have problem. I'm doing answering all my customers.
Okay, just out of curiosity, if you had to choose a big name in Nigeria to make a shoe for, maybe male or female, who would you want to make a pair of shoes for? I said if you had to choose in Nigeria that, okay, choose one big name that you'd like to make a pair of shoes for, who would you like that to be?
Dangote.
Huh?
Aliko Dangote.
Ah. Interesting. Well, keep the hope alive. It may come through someday.
Thank you.
Okay. We will go on a short break now. Please stay with us. I'm still here with Kairat Ibrahim, founder of Care Designs. Hi, Kairat.
Hi.
So where did the Care Designs name come from?
From my name.
Okay.
Care Designs.
Oh, okay. All right. So how do you get inspiration for your shoe designs?
And I feel from God because whenever I sleep, I normally sleep halfway because ideas keep running in my mind. So I think from God. And also some customers normally bring their designs for me to make.
Oh, interesting. So, which would you prefer? Because I know some people may find it hard actually making a customer's model that they want. They would rather make what they have in their head. But for you, which one comes easier?
Both.
Both. You're very creative. Well done. Okay, so what is your advice for other young entrepreneurs running a business in Nigeria today? What words do you have for them?
Okay, I think they don't have, okay, you said for young.
Well, young and general entrepreneurs, especially female.
Procrastination should not be part of their business because it's really just business and laziness.
Okay.
Also, you have to step outside the box, network with people, meet new people, and seek advice from people that are in the game for long.
Okay. So what keeps you going as Kairat? What keeps you going? Because I'm sure there are times that you wake up in the morning and you're like, you know what, I'm not doing anything today, or I quit. But what keeps you going?
My mom.
Your mom?
Yes, her words of encouragement, because there are many times that I will just wait. I'll cry. I'm tired. When will I be where I want to be? But her words of encouragement, like, no, don't give up. You have time, you can make it. Like, her words of encouragement is the one that is keeping me going.
Interesting. So, very quickly, what are your dreams for your brand? So, do you think that in another 3 to 5, 6, 7 years you will drop it and maybe pick something else, or do you actually intend to see it through completely?
I can't drop shoemaking. I think maybe I'll broaden the. I want to broaden the brand.
Okay.
So that I can more things, like more creative things, like crocheting and so on. But shoemaking, I don't think shoemaking.
So would you say that you have gotten to that peak in the shoemaking world that you can do almost anything when it comes to shoemaking? Or do you keep advancing in terms of learning to get better? Or how does it work for you?
No, I keep advancing. I don't think you reach a peak, because wherever that you reach, there are people that have reached that place before you. So I think I would like to advance, meet more people that are in the game before me.
Okay, so how have you been able to, you're far away in Kano, but what strategies have you put in place to project your brand to the whole of Nigeria?
Okay. Normally through social media, you place an order and your order will be sent in like 4 to 5 days, depending on what you ordered.
Amazing, Kyra. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today, and we wish you all the very best. Thanks for watching this episode of Ladies Talking Business. Do join us this same time next week for another episode. And don't forget to follow us on PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle on YouTube to catch up with our programs. I am Morimi Akonwo. Bye for now.
Oftentimes when we see celebrities either on social media, television, or in person, we assume they have it all together, but we forget that they're also human. Well, here are some of the low points of some of your favorite celebrities.
So coming into Lagos and having to do like 5 jobs, at a time, my life has always been a balancing act, Time was when I was in this town. Funny you mention it. This entire area, I hip hop around this area. I start from NTA and begin to work my way gradually, end up here at Peck Theatre, and then at the Onikon Museum, and then at Racecourse. Story for another day.
All right, so growing up, I wouldn't say I was born with a silver spoon, but I was okay. Dad had everything going on for us. And I lost him when I was 16. So at that point in my life, I had to start making decisions for myself, which was a bit difficult. And that was when I actually decided to become a DJ. When my dad was alive, he didn't want me to do entertainment. So I had to shape myself, take that decision. I remember leaving my house for 2 years at some point because I was chasing my dream. And all that basically has molded me into the man I am today.
I remember while I was in school, I would never imagine I would be the person today. I even, at some point, never had money to go to school. So what I would do, I would walk all the way to the bus stop and hope that when I get in the bus, I'll see a student like me that can pay for me before I get to Lasso Gates. But for real, life is like that, and we just take all these things and mold them into what makes us stronger. You mold all the struggle into dumbbell, use that to make yourself stronger. That's it. So for me, I can share a lot of experience with you that would make you drop your jaw and be like, you went through all this.
I personally, I never saw the four walls of a university. But I found myself now being able to inspire and speak to a lot of audiences. And it's all about self-improvement. Having that drive to, I want to be better than who I am. I want to move. I want to be a positive change. I want to impact positively on the people. It is just one making that honest decision to push themselves rather than looking for the shortest cut by doing all sorts of, hanky-panky nonsense. We can. Only you can.
I've been so broke that I had to walk from Maryland to Ilukweju because I didn't have 15 naira transport money for bus. So yeah, I've been through that. And I didn't want to call anybody. This was something that I was like, I got to go through this on my own because I decided to get into the entertainment industry and chase after my dreams. Left my job. I was tired of calling family, parents, my father, my mother, my guardians to say, yo, I'm broke, I was like, you know what, let's rough it, and I did. But here I am today.
One of my worst experience then was when I premiered on radio, the first 2 weeks was hell because people was calling the radio station to some said they should arrest me, some said they should sack me, some said they should they don't like my voice. They just feel say I be worried, but are they rude, Then not be now we be like say comedian go come. Then a few comedians they. So when you go strange land and I no go a day, then when you go that kind of area where be like say the only comedians where they know that and Ikemowo or Sophia Sin and you got they speak pidgin and say comedian that time, if you hear person you go be like say you they rude. And those Igbo people they not they take a likely at all. So the first 2 weeks for my radio career they say me they sack me. First 3 weeks so me and my friends what we they do? People go call the radio station, say me they sack me, we can go buy card, 90 card. So when those people they call, my friends will go try to call the radio station, say, Mona leave now our best presenter. But the funny thing is our calls not they go through. If we try to call the radio station where they work, we know if they get the radio station. But the other people they call.
And the village people.
Yes, my village people, your blog the line.
A few years ago, 2012 I think or 2013, I was on a music competition. And one of the judges said to me, I still know him, I'm not going to call him out. So he said that he doesn't feel like singing is something I should ever think of.
How did that make you feel?
I didn't feel bad because I'm precious.
Hello, this is the Greater Lagos Vision and I'm your host, Love Ikuku Oyedokun. The fourth edition of the Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Kadri Obafemi Hamzat Health Mission International Bosco has taken place. This edition of the Bosco Health Care Mission International was carried out in conjunction with the relaunch of the Jigi Bola initiative. The Babajide Sanwo-Olu-led administration has continued to lead the frontiers in delivering good health care in the diagnosis for hearing impairments and the provision of hearing aids. In the fourth edition, Bosco Health Mission Initiative made enough provision to carry out routine screening exercise on the residents across the 20 local government areas and the 37 LCDAs of the state. And this is the Greater Lagos Vision. Welcome once again. I'm Love Ikuku Oyedokun. This episode features Bosco HMI 4th edition, 250,000 Lagosians to benefit from free healthcare intervention. Lagos State Government unveils Smart ID card. Lagos Sanwo-Olu commissions digital modular school. Details of these and many more when we return. Please stay with us. About 250,000 residents of Lagos have been targeted for free medical treatment through the Jigi Bola Healthcare Initiative. Speaking at the flag off of the fourth edition of Bosco Free Medical Outreach, tagged Jigi Bola relaunched Phase 2, Governor Sanwo-Olu maintains that his administration is more concerned about the health of the people and would ensure quality health care is delivered. The relaunch of the Jigi Bola initiative is in conjunction with the Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Kadri Obafemi Hamzat Health Mission International Bosco. The Jigi Bola Health Mission was launched during the administration of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as a free sight and hearing aid program of the Lagos State Government in 2001. The program, targeted to reach over 250,000 Lagosians, had no fewer than 961 volunteers providing medical services for the outreach.
In this fourth edition, this mission has made enough provision to carry out routine screening exercises on the residents across the 20 local government areas and 37 LCDA of the state. And if you listen attentively to what the conveyor was saying, Mrs. Nike Osai, she actually mentioned the fact that this will be taking place in different areas of the state, which she mentioned: Shomolu, Amuwo Odofin, Etiosa, Ibejuleki, Koshofe, Mushin, Surulere, and so on and so forth.
Governor Sanwo-Olu is represented here. He discloses that through Bosco Health Mission International, his administration has continued to lead the frontiers in delivering good healthcare services for the citizens.
This administration has also taken the bolder step by broadening the scope of this health mission to include other health provisions beyond the provision of visual and hearing aids to cater for the need of Lagosians whose health need do not fall within visual and hearing impairment alone. And we must not apologize or be apologetic for the growing number of cases, but we must take deliberate actions in reducing the statistics of hearing disabilities and lack of good vision.
Similarly, the wife of the governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, believes the program has contributed a great deal in achieving unparalleled impact in preventing major health risk among residents of the state.
To urge the good people, especially those suffering from visual impairment, to take advantage of the initiative to improve their health. This is because a large number of cases of visual impairment could have been prevented if they were detected and treated effectively.
She also commends volunteers and partners who have decided to work with the state government to ensure the success of the initiative. As part of measures at providing a reliable database in the state, the Lagos State Residents Registration Agency, LASRA, has launched the upgraded Lagos State Resident Identity Card, LAG Smart ID Card. The relaunch, according to the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, took place simultaneously across the 5 divisions as the state targets to produce 10 million cards before the end of the year. This is a venue of the relaunch to unveil the LAG Smart ID Card at the Police College, Ikeja. It was filled to capacity with people from all walks of life thronging the venue to witness the event. The arrival of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu got the place electrified as he acknowledged greetings from the people. The governor told the gatherings that the event took place simultaneously across the 5 divisions in order to meet up with its projected target to produce 10 million cars before the end of the year.
I want to use this up to call on all of us, let us acquire this Lagos resident card. And it will help us enjoy the many, many benefits on offer and enable us more thoroughly and effectively plan and budget for the delivery of the dividends of democracy against the backdrop of our ever-growing population. I'm certainly proud to note that the smart card benefiting the leading megacity in Africa, Lagos State.
Tubosu Alake is a special advisor to the governor, Innovation and Technology. He described the launch as a landmark to catalyze the Lagos economy through technology.
This new identity paradigm in Lagos, tagged LASRA 2.0, that is what we have called it, adopts industry-leading technology with world-class partners to deliver a comprehensive and elastic identity system that is future-proof and highly secure.
General Manager of LASRA, Ibilola Kasimu, highlighted the unique features of the new Lagos Residence Card.
This new card is a multi-purpose smart card with 28 applets that make the provision of 28 services possible to cardholders. The new card is therefore a multi-application smart card that offers registered residents access to services ranging from serving as a means of personal security and identity verification at points of accessing various government services, validation of your residency status, and also financial inclusiveness by providing every resident with the ability to perform cashless transactions.
She told the gathering that card holders can also use it as a means of payment for services across multiple vendors, including buses, ferries, supermarkets, and cash withdrawals from banks' automated teller machines. Kasimu appealed to residents in the state who have not registered to do so by visiting the agency's website www.lagosresidents.gov.ng. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has opened the newly built containerized modular classroom block in Vetland Junior Grammar School, Agege. He described the digitalized modular school as the future of public schools in Lagos, Nigeria, and Africa in general. This is the Vetland Junior Grammar School in Agege. The school was carved out of the existing Vetland Grammar School and officially took off on 6 January 2003. The formal commissioning brought so much excitement to the students, parents, and teachers as Governor Sanwo-Olu made his way through the crowd. The governor, in his keynote address, told the gathering that his goal was to build schools of the future, public schools that are driven by cutting-edge technology. He described the modular school as a milestone on the journey towards ensuring that no child is left behind in Lagos State.
This is the future of public school in Lagos. This is the future of public school in Nigeria. We believe this should be the future of public school in Africa. In terms of some numbers, our administration so far, we've constructed over 800 new classroom blocks in public school system, while we're completing rehabilitation of about 200 primary schools and secondary schools, all within the next couple of weeks. We've also added about 180,000 units of furniture that have been supplied across all the 6 educational districts in the state.
Commissioner for Education Folashade Adefisayo thanked Sanwo-Olu for keeping his promise of increasing the ministry's yearly budgetary allocation. She described the Vetland modular building as one for ages.
This building is unique, but it's unique again because for me as an educationist, I love nice buildings. I want the children to be in nice buildings. But for me, it's always about the teaching and learning. What is going on inside the school? And in this school, in each classroom, we have a smart whiteboard. We have tablets for the children. The teachers clock in using biometrics. And what this is going to do is that we are moving our children into the 21st century.
Chairman of the Special Committee of Rehabilitation of Public Schools, Hakeem Smith, noted that a new intermodal containerized building would encourage hybrid learning. He said pupils can learn remotely because of the type of technology deployed in the school.
In 10 years from now, the kids from Betland are the ones who will digitize your civil service. It will be native to them. It will be native to them. It will be what they are used to doing from day one already. They would be the corporate leaders tomorrow who are going to be solving with critical thinking skills that they would learn in this classroom, solving problems for Lagos State. They would be the inventors in 2 years from now, from the technology they have here.
When you bring traditional learning into modern day technology, you have them at your fingertip. They are interested, they come alive. And then this solution, this technology sitting in this classroom allows them interact with the teacher. There's room for critical thinking. There's room for creativity. So it's not just the teacher talking and writing. Now they are actively involved. You can see that all of the pupils have a PC. Everything going on the screen is replicated on their PC. So they get to interact and collaborate.
The containerized modular school building comprises 9 regular classrooms, 3 laboratories, and 4 staff rooms, all solar-powered. As a government entrusted with oversight and leadership of the public service, my administration will continue to give priority attention to all your needs, especially those that will improve your job satisfaction and your ability and capacity to meet the expectations of Lagosians. This reassurance came from Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the 2022 Public Service Week celebration. It was an auspicious occasion organized to recognize Lagos State public servants who have been adjudged outstanding in various ministries, agencies, and parastatals statewide. The grand finale was part of activities lined up to commemorate the 2022 Public Service Week. The stakes were high, so also expectations of these civil servants, all anticipating to win. The arrival of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu set the tone for the moment. The governor stepped to the podium, reassuring that the workers' welfare was topmost in his agenda.
As a government that is entrusted with oversight and the leadership of the public service, we will continue to give priority attention to all of your needs, especially those that will improve